Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Tempe Creek, where we work and talk about everything farming, viticulture, and winemaking. And today we're talking about vineyard site selection. So come on with me. When choosing a vineyard site, there's three things you really need to worry about. First is going to be drainage, and then it's going to be soil composition, and last it's going to be sun exposure. We'll talk about all three of those things right now to kind of guide you in choosing the best site on your farm or land for a vineyard. All right, so the first thing is drainage. Right here we're in a field we just bulldozed to kind of get the top layer of topsoil, move it around a little bit. I know that's not something you would normally do. However, we have a lot of clay here, and basically it's really hard to even penetrate the topsoil a lot of times, and it's just easier to use bulldoze it down than actually using any type of other farming plows or whatever, because it just doesn't work here. Which comes to my next thing about drainage. The best soil to have, honestly, is going to be a sandy loam, or any other type of loam would be next best. But the worst possible soil to have is clay.
That's right, you guessed it. We have clay here, and not just a little bit, we have it everywhere. We go from a little bit of clay to a clay loam,
which is a little bit better. However, it's not what we need, and it holds a lot of moisture. So back to the whole drainage thing, having clay or other soil types that really hold moisture is not the best for vines. Having said that, that's what we have, and our vines do pretty good. But how do we do that? Well, let's go back over to the vineyard and I'll explain how that what we did to kind of alleviate some of the drainage problem.
Alright guys, here we're back at the vineyard, and as you can tell, one thing we did to alleviate drainage is we planted on a hillside, and you can see it actually goes down, and so that helps alleviate water just sitting on your plants, which vines like a lot of water, but they don't like to sit in water, which can be very detrimental to their growth.
Alright guys, so now if you're unsure whether you have good drainage or not, because of soil type or whatever else, or maybe you have pockets of some sandy loam, but then you have clay mixed in, which is like very probable. We have like different pocket areas of different things, but overall ours is more of like a clay loam. But if you're unsure about your drainage, what you can do is actually go
dig a hole, guys. It doesn't really matter where, just somewhere in your potential vineyard site. You want it to be 12 inches by 12 to 18 inches deep.
And what that will do, guys, is gonna be your test site for seeing how good your drainage is. Then what you need to do is go ahead and fill up that hole with water. All right, if after one day the water is gone, you have pretty good drainage. If after 2 days the water is gone, it's okay drainage. If you still have any water after 2 days, you do not have good drainage at all. And so that kind of tells you what you need to go ahead and try to remedy that, or choose a completely different site, because that's not really going to work for the plants. All right guys, the next thing you want to look at is your soil pH and your soil composition. This is going to help you know whether you need to actually compost or not, or what else you need to add into your soil so that your vines do really well. So all you need to do is take some core samples. Take 5 core samples of different areas of the test site. And guys, I know you're like, oh, it's an extra expense, but it really isn't that much. And if you're planning to plant more than like a couple of vines, it's worth it in the long run. So you don't have to do fertilize, you don't have to put down lime or whatever it is you need to fix your your vineyard site. It's about $20 a core, if I remember correctly. And so it's going to be about $100. And it's also going to tell you something else that's really important that we haven't, which is our next thing about our soil composition. What you want is you want to have a slightly acidic pH. All right, that's going to help with your plants being able to extract nutrients from the ground a lot easier, and basically whenever you lay stuff down, your plant's going to get more out of that. Having said that, again, we actually have a slightly basic vineyard site. So our vineyard, it has a slightly basic soil type, which is like obviously, like I said, not optimal, but we still make do. And so what we do actually to remedy that is we throw lime to kind of bring down the pH of the area, and it's worked so far. And as you can tell, our vines are actually doing pretty good, with the slight few exceptions, but that's going to be true no matter where vineyard you go to. There's going to be holes of empty different vines that have died or just didn't take off and that are getting replanted. That's like true no matter what. The last piece of our trifecta is going to be sun exposure. Like, this is kind of obvious and it kind of goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyways. Go ahead and have full sun exposure. Don't have trees around your vineyard. It's going to go ahead and block some of your vines at certain parts of the day. And so just like make sure you are in full sun exposure the entire part of the day. And randomly, I was walking the vineyard and I saw some grapes that were still, this is actually probably grew after we harvested. And so it's just kind of cool to see. But yeah, I'll probably pick these and throw them on the ground or something. I don't know. Alright guys, that's it from us from Tempe Creek. Make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that we bring you more content about farming, viticulture, and winemaking. Other than that, have a nice day, guys.